The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Rock stars and religious cults never mix well, and they don't here either, as Amber and Scott discuss after watching the movie Opus. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
I'd like to say that movie wasn't realistic. I just don't think I can, unfortunately.
That's an interesting take. I look forward to hearing more.
There was a high level of crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode we are talking about the film Opus. A young writer is invited to the remote compound of a legendary pop star who mysteriously disappeared 30 years ago. Surrounded by the star's cult of sycophants and intoxicated journalists, she finds herself in the middle of his twisted plan.
That's sycophant with an O.
Yes, sycophant with an O. This was an interesting film.
I enjoyed it. It was a bit on the dark side. I do like a good dark film. I don't know if it was intentional for the whole puppet show thing, and I immediately felt like it was a callback to Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, John Malkovich was the star of this film, and if that was an inside joke for one of his other films, you must have picked up on that for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, the guy who took him over wanted to be a puppeteer.
This kind of reminds me of the film Blink. The one with Channing Tatum.
Yes.
Is basically like, oh, we're off to have this amazing experience. And then, things start to get messy and people start dying.
Yeah. And, it was weird. Do we even know what happened to the first guy?
He had his head cut off. It was on the wall in the middle of a wreath.
Oh, was that his head?
Yeah, that was his head.
Oh, I thought we saw the body in the shed earlier.
Yeah, we did. It didn't have a head on it at the time.
Oh, it did not?
No,
I missed that.
Okay, so if you haven't seen this film, just a quick overview. This rock star who was a big deal in the 90s used to drop these videos saying I thought they said his dad used to drop them, but that guy didn't seem old enough to be his dad.
No, his manager.
Manager, okay. So his manager would drop VHS tapes back in the day to folks saying, he has a new film or a new record coming out, and here's all the information. And this time, they just kind of sent out a video, and they invited a handful of people to come to his estate and listen to the new music. And
I mean, on the outside, it looked like one of the most luxurious vacations you're ever going to have. I mean, you literally have your own personal 24/7 concierge, and that's on top of the fact that they're serving these decadent meals, and, I mean, they're just pampering you upside down.
So 5 people get invited to this special event. And they're journalists, they're music people, they're paparazzi. It all makes sense. And then we have our main character, Ariel, she works with one of the guys who was invited, but she was invited on her own. She wasn't a special guest of him or anything. She was invited on her own. And she's the only one that seems like, why is she there? Because everybody else is somebody. And she's trying to be somebody, but she's not yet.
Yeah.
So they go to the estate, and everything seems wonderful. The 24-hour concierge that you mentioned immediately would be a red flag for me, because if you're going to say that there's someone who accompanies me regardless of where I go the entire time I'm there, that is not a concierge. That is a bodyguard.
Yeah, I was about to say, security guard.
Security guard, not a bodyguard to protect me.
If I had to call them, if I could call them on the phone and they would come from wherever they were, that would be fine. If they're literally standing outside my door the entire night?
Yeah, and going on a jog with me so I don't spend any time alone, that was my first red flag of that's not a concierge. That's someone's trying to keep you in certain places and out of certain places and make sure that they know what you're doing. And sure enough, there was cameras all throughout the property. There was cameras in everyone's private rooms, and they were being monitored.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but they knew they were being monitored. Really,
No,
it wasn't.
they didn't know they were being monitored in the rooms.
Oh
No.
yeah, no, they said they've got cameras everywhere.
No,
They're
they
watching
said,
us at all times.
No. What she said is they're in the middle of the movie. She came in. She goes, they're
probably
there's
listening.
There's cameras around the property. They're probably listening to us now.
Yeah, but I think they came to terms with the fact that they could see what was going on, but they weren't sure whether or not they could hear what was going on.
Well, and that was really her concern, is because she was the only one who was concerned about what was happening. All the other journalists were just enjoying being pampered and having this rich experience with someone who is this intriguing, mysterious rock star. And even when the first guy kind of went to get a massage and didn't come back, they weren't really nervous. And then the second gal started to cough and she got whisked away and never came back. And I would have been like, Ariel, I would be like, wait, why haven't we seen the first person? Where's the first person? Where's the second person? Now we have two people who are gone.
I mean, the coughing thing didn't strike me as particularly odd at the time.
But they whisked her away, and that was odd.
Well, yeah, here, get her IV or something like that, which, I mean, it was
It's excessive. They
a little
wanted to
bit of
get
an
her away.
overreaction. But yeah, the fact that the first guy, like, I mean, they're like keeping them in line with what's going on. And they're like, oh, he just spent too much time in the spa. Really? No, I don't think you would have let him.
Yeah, and Ariel is the only one who has spidey sense tingling all over that there's something not right. And what would you do? I highly identified with Ariel because I would be skeptical of what was happening. And also, too, she was questioning where they were. Like, why are we at this estate? But there's hundreds of people who are there. And there was this one scene that was toward the beginning where they all had this communal dinner, and there was huge loaves of bread at every table, and they passed around the bread back and forth across the table for everyone to take a bite out of the loaf of bread and continue passing it on until it was all gone.
Really want to be at the
OMG.
head of that table.
OMG.
So-
My germophobia was creepy crawly that entire time. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
So, who is your favorite rock star? Musician or whatever.
Favorite? I don't know. I have a favorite. I think I definitely have some that I love because they have amazing stage presence. Mick Jagger has amazing stage presence. J.D. Fortune has amazing stage presence.
Pick one.
Favorite? I mean, I don't know if I want to be locked down like that, dude.
I mean, okay, Mick Jagger. If you could have an exclusive thing where just you and a few other people could go out to this private place and get the very first listing of some of his new music before anyone else had heard it,
Yeah.
would you let them shave your pubes?
Yeah, that was part of the film, folks. Scott's weird and he says some weird things, but that actually was part of the movie. And what was that about? Was it just a test to see
No,
how
that was
much
a question.
I understand that. And I'll answer you in a moment. But I mean but that's interesting though. I mean, what was in the story? What was the reason for that? I saw it as a test of how much you're willing to comply, how
Yes.
much you won't question things, and you'll just go along.
Yep.
Because people who question things, people who make noise, people who raise a ruckus are usually the ones that are bypassed for scams or crimes or whatnot because they're like, yeah, this one's too much trouble.
Yeah, and in some ways, it's almost like a mild establishing of like dominance.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that
would
happens
you?
on dating too. Like sometimes where a guy might think it'll be chivalrous to order for someone or take the lead on buying them a drink or whatever. Sometimes bad guys, do that as a test of like, okay, how much can I get her to go along with without objecting?
Fair. Okay, I've never really thought of it that way, but it makes complete sense.
It's an early personality test.
So would you?
Yeah. Okay. You're not going to let this go.
Hell no, I'm not going to let this go.
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, I'm really thinking here. On one hand, I would be like, I'm sorry, what? And the rational part of me would be, yeah, there's no freaking way. I think I would be inclined to maybe find a compromise of saying, this is weird. I have no idea what this is. Maybe I will do it myself, but I will not let some random stranger shave me while I'm standing up in my room.
Yeah, I'll do it myself. You can inspect when I'm done, but I don't need you getting all up in my business.
But if it's anyone short of my absolute favorite person, no. I mean, under most circumstances, that would be a hard no. If it seemed like an opportunity and nothing weird had happened. But at that point, there was kind of some weird things happening. So at that point, I probably would have said no because there was enough at that point happening that I think it would be like, there's something not right
Well,
here.
she came out of the shower and got overwhelmed by half a dozen people.
Yeah,
who
but
were,
they wanted to dress her pretty and do her makeup. That's okay.
I mean, she
That's
was
a
pretty.
girly thing.
She was pretty. They look good. She looked good.
Yeah.
And apparently, she had nice, tidy pubes. So, which he likes them unshaven, which means nice and tidy.
Does this mean we need to change the rating on this episode to R?
No, just
Okay.
pubes.
It doesn't feel like it's G anymore.
Well, is it ever G?
I think so.
No, it's never G. PG, maybe, but it's
so-
never G.
Long story short, we kind of get toward the end and we figure out what the deal is all of these 5 people, excluding Ariel, somehow did something wrong back in the day. Like they had some sort of negative thing that they had done to our main character, Moretti, that he didn't like. Either, they called something weird or they said this wasn't great or his music was mediocre, some sort of one passing thing that they had said or done. And I don't know why. Okay, so I know why. It's because the writers wrote it this way. But if I had been in that group, I might have put that pattern together. Like, wait, this is weird. All of us have somehow slammed him at some point. Because they knew the one guy. They knew the one guy had an issue with Moretti, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, Moretti hates this one journalist. Why is he here? Why is he here? But they didn't seem to put together that they had all said or done something at one point.
All except Ariel.
Yeah,
so
I said that.
so Ariel's the pattern breaker.
Yeah.
If so, they'd be like, "Oh, we did, but you didn't. So why are you here?" So that's the one thing that would actually bust up that pattern. Though it sounds like the Bill or whatever, he actually
Who's
like
Bill? The first guy.
actually had beef at one point, like legit beef.
Yeah.
With each other, but the other ones just kind of maybe made some sideways comments in their writing or whatever.
Yeah, just random one-offs. It wasn't like a pattern or anything because they were mostly fans.
Like, this guy was petty, but...
Moretti?
Yeah. But it obviously, as we find out at the end, like it's somewhat targeted for those people because I think he knew, like, basically he wanted to murder people. And so he figured if I'm going to murder people, I should murder people who have slighted me. Because the entire point to that was to get Ariel to write the book.
Yeah, okay. So that's confusing to me. What do you mean he wanted to murder people? I don't know this.
He wanted to generate something that was going to put his religion or whatever massively at the forefront. And that was the plan, was that basically he was going to do something shocking and there was going to be like this expose type thing by the one person who survived and lived through it. And it becomes this huge thing. And like, yeah, he goes to jail, but I mean, if you're a religious fanatic, I mean, you're fine with, I mean, people blow themselves up. What's jail time?
Yeah, the cult like religion he was part of was I believe it was the Levelists.
The Levelists, yeah.
And it looked like a typical religious commune. Everyone goes to the school on the property, everyone has meals together, everyone does activities together, and everyone is living side by side in harmony. And what we didn't say flat out is Bill, okay, he gets his head chopped off. The gal who coughs turns up later in a bean bag, and she's been given some sort of something that causes everything that's moist or wet in her body to expand.
Yeah,
so
whatever
she
drank, it was tainted.
Yeah, her tongue is the size of a tennis ball, and they just at that point they were going to polish off everybody else, and Ariel gets away.
Yeah, but two of them tried to escape, and they basically got stabbed to death. And the last one, I'm not sure exactly how she died.
Julia Lewis was the one who is tied with Ariel at the ceremony in the evening where they were tied together at the
was
chair.
that Julie?
Yeah, her character Clara was tied.
Oh,
next
I
to.
didn't recognize her at all.
Yeah. So yeah, she made it to there, and it was after Ariel set fire to everything and ran away. They killed Clara.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go now. So let's go over a few what wouldn't you do's I have.
Okay.
What wouldn't I do? Number one, I wouldn't put my wig on so tight that if somebody pulled my hair, it literally would cause my scalp to separate.
I don't think she put it on so tight. They put it on, and she was commenting earlier in the film of like, this is really tight.
No, I'd be like, get this thing the hell
I think
off
they
me.
glued it to her or something that they shouldn't have done. She didn't do that to herself.
Get this thing. Yeah. So that's one what I wouldn't do.
Don't allow other people to apply wigs. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Two, I don't know if I would be nearly as jovial as who was the boss?
Stan.
As Stan was later that night after getting shot in the shoulder with an arrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I mean, a kid comes over and apologizes. Like, did the kid actually shoot the arrow, or did somebody else shoot it and the kid was taking the fall for it? But he was like, oh, basically like no big deal. I mean, it hurt, but it's cool. I don't know if I'd be cool with that.
Did he say that? I don't recall him
No,
saying
but
that.
in the end, he was laughing with his arm in a sling later that night.
Yeah, well, a lot of alcohol do that. People can push through the pain with alcohol.
And let me get to the biggest what I wouldn't do
Okay,
from
what
this
wouldn't
movie.
you do?
I wouldn't, being chased, go into a house to confine myself and then go up the stairs in that house,
Yeah, get trapped. in the house.
completely trapping myself.
Yeah, that's funny you should say that. I thought that same thing. So as she's running from them the first time before she's caught, she's runs a couple times, and this is the one time that she's caught. She runs into this museum on the property, and yeah, it's a 3-story, and she keeps going up and up and up, and ultimately cornering herself in a bathroom. And I thought the same thing as, why would you do that? Number one, why would you? If you were in the house, number one, there should always be a second exit. You shouldn't be trapped in that house, even if it's a 1-story house. If you're going in, you got to make sure you have another way of getting out. I mean, it might be a window, but a door is good. But
I might have tried to go into the house if I knew I could get out of the house to make them think that I went into the house to hide.
yeah,
They give me more time. Like, if I'm being chased by someone in that scenario, unless I really, truly believe I can get somewhere and hide where they won't find me, and it sure as hell wasn't that house,
yeah.
I'm not putting myself anywhere I can be cornered.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I'm taking off.
Like, you don't want to go to a basement either. Then you're really screwed.
Yeah, I'm taking off for the fence on the outside, which I don't know exactly how far away it was. I mean, it was far enough away that she ended up getting on an ATV.
Yeah.
And going, so maybe it would have been just almost too far away. But I mean, at that point, you're like, well, what the hell am I going to do? Stop, guys, hang on. Listen, I'm gassed. I need to go back and get the ATV. So could y'all stop chasing me for just a moment while I go back and do that? Because I can't. I mean, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place at that point.
Yeah. So, I mean, what would you do in the case of Ariel, where she was basically, as you alluded to earlier, being used to witness what was going on with Moretti's plan of her ultimately writing a book because he was familiar with her writing and thought she would write a really good book about him.
Yeah, it's actually crazy because he's like this huge freaking megastar. She's a nobody. And he found some of her writing from before she was even a nobody.
Well, they had been finding his cult people had been looking for someone who could do
Yeah.
that, and I think they found her as one of those candidates, and he probably looked into her and appreciated her ability to describe things and thought she'd write a good book because she wanted to write a book, and sure enough, she did. So she did exactly as Moretti had intended.
Like,
And then later realized that he had actually used her,
yeah, like
knowing that was the
like
outcome.
she was never actually in any real danger. I mean, that's why Rachel tried to help her escape. Because she knew that she wasn't in danger. She needed to get away.
Yeah, the cult member who shaved for the pubic area.
Yeah, for the plan to work. And I think she was confused about that. Like, why is she helping me now? But it all makes sense at the end.
I think at that point, confused or not, you take whatever help you can get.
Yeah, no, you're just the hell
Even
out.
if you're skeptical and it might be for something else bad, you still gotta try, because at that point you think you're fighting for your life.
Yeah, no, you're the hell out of there.
Yeah.
So, don't try. What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what would you do? Don't go to compounds. Like, I don't think anything good happens at a compound. If there's a gate around a property, a high fence with barbed wire, and it's a massive property and it's a self-contained little community, you really got to think long and hard, because I'm sure there's a lot of communes that are like that and they're fine. But when it's not a commune and it's a compound with 20, 30 feet high chain link fences and barbed wire at the top, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've never heard of great things happening at compounds. So,
but that said,
it's a hard pass.
Blink, which I drew a similarity to earlier, was a beautiful mansion. So,
it had a fence too. Its fence just happened to be the ocean.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was an island.
I mean, it's the same fence. You're not going anywhere.
Oh, okay. Then here's this. Both of these movies made you turn in your phones. Both of them made you turn in your phones. Maybe that's it. What would you do if you're anywhere remote with people you don't know? Don't sacrifice your ability to communicate.
Yeah, though I will say this: if her phone's gone, I mean, clearly they're not giving out the Wi-Fi password. They could have let her have her laptop. It actually would have done better for her taking notes and stuff like that. Like, they could have, because how's she going to communicate with the outside world? She's got no internet.
Well, you can't let one person keep something and everybody else not.
Well, just you get no phones. No phones. No phones, people, and no compounds. No phones, no compounds.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.